Always one of the highlights of every TSW show. This man right here, GPA, the academic standard, 10-year veteran of the pro wrestling business, one of the smartest men walking the face of the earth today, and he is gracing us with his presence here tonight in Hamilton, Ohio. These people should shut up. They can learn a lot from GPA. Can learn more in 10 minutes talking to this man than you can in 4 years of college. GPA eagerly awaiting the appearance of his opponent here tonight. A youngster here making his second appearance now in TSW. I'm talking about 12 Gaige.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nate, I love the energy of this undersized young man. The name Gaige by birth, that's the spelling explanation, by the way. But when he gets in the ring, he's so explosive, he's so powerful, he's so dangerous. He goes off like a 12 Gaige, and that really lends itself to compensating for what he lacks in size. He's got that intensity in every single thing he does.
You talk about this man being explosive, he might be a dud here tonight against GPA.
When the contest begins, your referee in charge, Brandon Toll. Introducing first in the corner to my right, weighing in at 190 pounds, from Chicago, Illinois, he is the academic standard, GPA. And his opponent in the corner to my left, weighing in at 165 pounds, from Peru, Illinois, he is the boomstick, 12 Gaige.
Well, certainly two different classes of athlete here. 12 Gaige, who is an overachiever. He's accomplished more than a lot of his critics and detractors have said that he ever would. But then you have GPA, who, let's face it, Nate, whether you like him or you don't, he looks down on the vast majority of people here. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and you know what? He may very well be correct, but he rubs it in everybody's face, and he thinks because of his superior intellect, it makes him better than everybody else.
Well, it's true. I mean, when you're smarter than other people, you're automatically better than them. GPA proves that each and every time he comes out here. I mean, being the smartest person in a room in Hamilton, Ohio, not exactly the greatest accomplishment in the world, but it's true. He is our intellectual superior.
I admire 12 Gaige extending the hand for the shake, but highly unlikely that he would have gotten the respect that he deserved from GPA, don't you think?
Well, that's a classic example right there. GPA is way too smart to fall for some of that nonsense that 12 Gaige, I mean, come on now. Think he's going to shake his hand?
By the way, Nate, I hope you were on your best behavior up here while I was down there trying to get the scoop of the rift between Trey Lamar and Myron Reed, and to see if it's just a professional difference or if it goes personal beyond that. It was great to see them bury the hatchet, although I know that's probably not the way you were hoping things would turn out, is it?
Yeah, I was hoping somebody was going to bury the hatchet in somebody else's back, you know. But that was just, it was so sappy, and, you know, what am I supposed to do? Be up here crying? Do I need some Kleenexes? They're going to hug it out. Going to be bros. You know, I think what is going to happen somewhere down the line, you know, maybe this isn't as settled as we think it is.
Nate, what's wrong with people respecting each other? I understand it might be a foreign concept to you in some of the circles you go to, but obviously Trey and Myron are top-tier athletes. They fought to a draw here before they went to overtime. I mean, how do you not respect one another knowing what each have accomplished?
You know, respect only gets you so far in this business or in the world in general. At some point, you got to look out for number one. And Trey Lamar, Myron Reed, I don't know which one of them is, you know, the better athlete or the better competitor. They both had some back and forths with each other here in the past.
Well, how do you feel about the back and forth between 12 Gaige and GPA? 12 Gaige is saying, you know what, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you should take your leave.
You know, this is all part of GPA's overall plan. He comes into each and every matchup with a game plan, and he just allows his opponent to feel like, oh, maybe they're in control. They're never in control. Nobody is in control in that ring right now except GPA.
Am I hearing correctly that the Hamilton faithful feels GPA is a little overrated?
These people can't even spell overrated.
Well, they can darn sure spell GPA, and they can darn sure see what he can do, and that's enough to form an opinion. As, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from GPA, that he's another athlete who has a win streak going for himself. And
he has a very impressive win streak going for him. Another guy who, you know, maybe down the road here, going to be a contender for that TSW Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, here's something you might not understand about GPA, though. This guy is so smart. If he had just like one evening where he could set aside maybe 2 hours or so, he could probably cure world hunger. But he doesn't have time for minor things like that when he's got much more important things to worry about.
So if it doesn't concern him, he doesn't care. He's not going to help other people, right? Only himself.
Well, why should he help other people? What have other people ever done for him?
He may need some help right now, because I see 12 Gaige with a big smile on his face like a Cheshire cat, and GPA's getting frustrated. Switching directions. Abusive yet elusive. 12 Gaige, little Power Ranger-esque in some of his attire as well. Get that kind of vibe. Certainly we'll see if he can continue to overachieve and score big as a live-action superhero might. Nice drop kick done by 12 Gaige.
All these cartwheels and flips and flops. Is this not a gymnastics routine or something like that? Come on now, let's be real.
That's part of pro wrestling. It has been for a number of decades. You know that. Check this out. 12 Gaige looking to put this thing away. And GPA looking for salvation. Imagine if GPA's first loss comes at the hands of 12 Gaige, who's looking to snap a bit of a losing streak lately.
Yeah, trying to drag GPA back into the center of the ring. Had a hold of that ring apron there. Referee needs to fix it. Brandon Toll over there. Look at that. Oh.
Come on.
You know, you would think sometimes maybe GPA gets a little tired of being the smartest man in the room. He never does.
What a cheap shot.
Nothing cheap at all about it.
See, again, we talked about this last time, but you call it smart, and I call it desperate. I don't think GPA had another option.
I think GPA lured him into that situation. That was his plan all along.
Nice back elbow.
Yeah, these people are still chanting overrated. I don't think there's anything overrated. As a matter of fact, I'd say GPA is underrated.
2 count only. Well, I think GPA, certainly with the likes of a Sam Beal, maybe a couple of others as well, could certainly make a case for being in that top of the rankings of the TSW Championship at VSK, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Web cover here, 2 count only.
The last time we were here in Hamilton, Ohio, of course, GPA picked up that big win over Hunter Holdcraft, who, by the way, is a training partner of 12 Gaige.
Well, so certainly you got to wonder if Hunter helped tip off 12 Gaige, maybe any weaknesses he discovered during that match.
If he tipped him off at all, it hasn't come into fruition thus far, because GPA right now picking apart young 12 Gaige.
Well, we know 12 Gaige is tough, trained at the Black and the Brave Wrestling Academy, co-run by Seth Rollins of all people. Nice roll up, almost put him away. So we know 12 Gaige has heart, because they're not training people half-assed. They're not cutting corners at Black and the Brave. If you're going to graduate there, you have all the makings to be something special.
And that's just it. I mean, 12 Gaige still young in this sport. Maybe someday he will reach that level of potential that he is showing, but he's in there with GPA. GPA with that backbreaker there.
And at 2 count only. I will say this, I think 12 Gaige and these fans have raised the ire and certainly ticked off GPA in a way where we're seeing an increased aggression and enhanced physicality. This is a very frustrated, angry GPA, and it's making him, dare I say, even better. Look out.
You know, moments ago there we saw 12 Gaige reaching out to the fans here, like they're his tag team partner, waiting for them to tag into the set. So the fans can't help you right now, 12 Gaige. You're in the ring with GPA.
There's something to be said about the energy in the air, the atmosphere, and the way that energy can travel and connect with another person. 12 Gaige lives off of that energy, that explosivity. And can he get off the rear race lock? GPA over on GPA with a counter.
What a back elbow there by GPA, just as 12 Gaige thought he maybe had him where he wanted him.
And into the corner, tip up. 12 Gaige got some great hang time. Distance comes opportunity. The counter connects.
I'll tell you what, GPA, I don't think he was ready for that.
And 12 Gaige with an opportunity to get what he needed most desperately, and that's a reprieve. That's a moment to catch his bearings. Sliding clothesline, nicely done.
You talked about 12 Gaige being explosive. He is explosive in there right now, and GPA is in trouble.
And look at 12 Gaige, it's almost as if he powers up with every offensive maneuver. That battery may be back up to 100% as 12 Gaige looks to soar through the air. Cross body, we got an upset. No.
Way too close right there, way too close. 12 Gaige looking a little flustered and frustrated. Big crossbody, not enough to keep GPA down.
GPA look for a counter, but 12 Gaige snaps off those rapid fire kicks.
Look out, going for that double underhook.
12 Gaige looking for something big. Oh, contact nearly made with the official toll. And GPA, oh, what a debilitated clothesline.
May have broken the man's neck. He landed very awkwardly.
Oh,
there it is.
That's called a straight A. And 12 Gaige got planted right in his head, and that's going to do it.
Here's your winner, the academic standard, GPA.
GPA just gave 12 Gaige a degree in defeat here tonight.
Say what you want about GPA. These fans call him overrated. I'll tell you this, I don't know if GPA is as good as GPA thinks he is, but GPA is certainly pretty darn good, and his win-loss record is evidence of that. Who's going to stop the academic standard and the smartest man in the room? GPA pulls off another win, but a tough loss for 12 Gaige, who gave it his all, but once again comes up on the losing end.
Look at GPA here, just observing his fallen opponent here.
Well, does GPA come in peace?
Maybe he's going to teach him another lesson.
GPA's body language indicating he respects 12 Gaige, almost like, hey, you got something, kid. Different side of GPA, but I'm digging it.
You know, GPA, he knows talent, and maybe he sees something in 12 Gaige.
Well, oh, damn it!
Or maybe he suckered him in yet again.
Now what does this prove?
This proves that GPA, once again, is our intellectual superior. He
You
just
won the
didn't win
match. What more do you want? You won the match. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look who's here!
Wait a second!
It's our guest of honor! 6 feet, 8 inches plus, Erick Redbeard. I think he was impressed by 12 Gaige too. He doesn't like what he's seen any more than these fans did.
What is he doing here? He's supposed to be signing autographs. He has no business stepping into a TSW ring.
I'll tell you what he's doing here. Anything he darn well pleases.
I mean, I'm not going to stop him, but... I mean, this man is massive. But don't think for a second that GPA isn't still his intellectual superior.
Well, what does that mean in this situation? Yeah, I think that's what it means. You run. I don't blame you.
Oh, wait
a minute, 12 Gaige.
What is he doing?
He's outsmarting GPA. That's what he's doing. He sends him right back in. Oh, yeah. Claw slam with authority. and GPA's grade point average just plummeted.
We might need some medical help down there for him.
You may be the smartest man in the room, but there's always the risk of somebody just a little bit or a lot of bit bigger. And when it comes to heart, I think 12 gauge can stand eye to eye with Erick Redbeard.
Oh, come on, don't touch him anymore. He's already hurt. This isn't fair. This isn't right. You can't condone this. Who would attack a man after a match?
And now GPA must feel about 1 inch tall as 12 gauge is on top of the world with Erick Redbeard by his side. That won't be official, but a definite moral victory for 12 gauge. And what a nod, what an endorsement from Erick Redbeard.
You know, this is disgusting. This is a 2-on-1 situation. GPA was not prepared for this.
Oh, think about how red hot that boomstick's feeling now. 12 gauge is on top of the world. Never thought he'd show up to work and make an unlikely friend named Redbeard. GPA, as smart as he was, couldn't avoid disaster here, courtesy of Erick Redbeard and his new buddy 12 gauge.